Hello. So in this video we are going to tackle the Kcse 2024 Computer Studies project step by step, explaining everything in details for you to understand how the project can be done. So maybe if you feel like the video will be too long for you and you're out of time, or maybe you need something decent and something that has already been made for you, I saw a YouTube channel somewhere that they really do some clean work, something professionally. They also do have a website, kcseprojects.co.ke. I'll leave all the details down in the video description. You may feel free to reach them out and yeah, grab yourself a copy. So let's dive into it without wasting any much time. So here's the question paper. If you haven't come across it or if you haven't familiarized it, I'll leave a download link down in the video description. You can download and have a look at it. So I'm going to tackle this question in the shortest time possible. The first paragraph is just the introduction. Uzima Company is one of the leading borehole drilling services in Kenya. They provide drilling services to industrial, commercial, and domestic clients. So the aim of this question is to create a computerized database system. So I have a new folder here. I'll right click, then create a new Microsoft Access database. I'll rename it Uzima Borehole Drilling System. And then I'll open it. So we're going to tackle this question step by step, paragraph after paragraph, in the shortest time possible. So the first paragraph reads, the company offers either symmetric drilling or core drilling or geometric drilling. So these are the drilling services that the company offers. After drilling, they install a water pump. So if you're familiarized with the question, you'll notice that down there will be a table for drilling services, which has the drilling services that the company offers, the down payment fee. So the first step we're going to do, we're going to create a new table based on the first paragraph we just read and call it the drilling services. Drilling services. Then here I'll have the primary key, that is the service ID. I'll leave it at auto number. Then the type of drilling, the type of drilling, I'll put it as short text, and then the down payment fee, because as you saw here from the table we have the type of drilling and the down payment fee. So here I'll have the type of drilling and the down payment fee. I'll put these as a currency, but since I do not want the US dollars currency, I'll edit this format to put the Kenyan currency. So I'll say cash hash comma hash 0.00. So that will format that the currency in Kenyan shillings. Then I'll save. Then I'll also be keying in data as we proceed. So from the table we have three types of drilling, that is the symmetric drilling, the core drilling, and the geotechnical drilling. So this type of drilling, we have the C. Okay, I'll just partition this screen. So you have the symmetric drilling. The down payment is 130,000. Okay, I'll just deal with the formatting of the dollar sign in a minute. Drilling, core drilling. Then you have the geo, the technical drilling. So the pricing is 225,000. Then you have 335,000. So let's deal with the formatting. So the format, instead of currency, this is it, cash. So I'll save. And as you see, the formatting has been applied successfully. Then the second from the question, so the second thing after the drilling services, the question continues and says, After drilling, they install a water pump. So the next thing we're going to deal with is the water pump. So the water pump are of various types. We have submersive, electric, and hand pumps. So the table for water pumps is also included. There is the types of pumps. Here it is. So we're going to create the second table. There is the type of pumps, the types of pumps. Then I'll have the pump ID. Leave it as auto number. Pump description. I'll leave it as short text, and then we have the cost, which they are given here, which is a currency. And then I had copied the formatting to save on time. I'll just paste it over here, and then we come and input the pumps, these different pumps. Submersible electric pump, which goes for 90,000. Okay, it seems that the currency keeps on resetting, but we'll delete it in a few. We have 65,000 for the solar pump, and then we have the hand pump, which goes for 30,000. So let's delete the currency. Save. It's okay. Then after the pumps, the question proceeds and says water pumps are of various types. We have submersible, electric, and solar pumps, and hand pumps. We've already inserted that data. The pumps are charged according to the depth of the borehole, height of the tank above the ground, and type of pump. So these details, they are depending on the client's preference. For instance, during each drilling application, is the client who decides the depth of the borehole, the height, and all these details. So that means that all these details will go under that specific application, because we can't put it here under types of pumps. We can't, there is no way we can put these details here. So we're going to create now the table for the drilling application. For now, the user, the clients, once he places his order, he gives the depth of the borehole, the height, and all the necessary details. So we're going to have drilling applications. There's another new table, drilling applications. Then here we'll have application ID. I'll leave it as auto number. I'll also have the applicant name, the client who will request for that service. So these are the applicant name, since you may need the same applicant to go and apply for another different service elsewhere in a different table. I won't say a short text. Instead, I'll use what we call a combo box. I'll just show you in a minute how we will link the applicant name to another different table. So the main reason why I kept these numbers, because I'm aiming to link it into a primary key from another table I'm just about to create. That is a client's table, which will have a client ID, which will be also an auto number. So since it's an auto number, for relationship to work, the data type must be the same. So that's why I kept a number. I'll just show you how it will implement it in a minute. Then we'll have the date of that drilling application. So I'll say the date of drilling, which is a date of time. We'll have also the drilling service that the client will need. The drilling service. So since we already had a table for drilling services, which is over here, we will just need to also use the combo box the same way as they are for the applicant. So since here in the drilling services, as you can see from the drilling services, the primary key is an auto number. So here we'll have to use an auto number. So first of all, I'll just link it real quick for illustration to show you how it works. So under lookup, once I'm in the drilling service, I'll come to lookup. Then as you can see, it's currently a text box whereby the user will need to type. So I need the user to just select instead of typing each and every time. So I'll select a combo box. Where am I getting the data of the combo box? Not it's coming from a different table, so I'll say table slash query. Then where is it coming from which table? So here I'm going to, let me just zoom in. I'm going to click these three dots over here for it to direct me to create a query. So I need to use the drilling services. So I'll double click on the drilling services. I'll just double clicked on the drilling services. Then I'll add the details of these drilling services. So I'll just add all the three. As you can see, this is a query. So this data will now appear once the user selects that field. I'll just show you how it will appear. Then I save and close. Then I come back here and save. Now the bound column is the column in which the data is supposed to be stored. So since it's a number and the first, this is the bound column, the first column input over here. So since it's a number, the data type here is a number. Remember, the data type should be the same for it to work. So just the first column is the one that has the data to be stored. Then how many columns do you want to be displayed? By that I mean, once the user, as you can see now, this is the combo box. Once the user selects, as you can see, we had three drilling services, that is service 1, service 2, and service 3. So how many columns do you want to appear here? We want it to show all the three columns that we added here. That is the service ID, the drilling, the type of drilling, and the down payment fee. So here we're going to change this value from 1 to 3. I save. So once I come again and click here, I'll be able to see the 3. And we can actually hide the first column, the one that has 1, 2, 3, by just reducing its width, the width for the first column to 0. So here under column width will say 0. And as you can see right now we have such a thing. So instead of the user typing it each and every time, we'll just select from here. So let's also display the column heads. If we say yes, now it will also have the column heads. These are the column heads, type of drilling, and the down payment fee. So you will just have to select. So the same is the same that will also apply under the applicant name. So here, I'll do first thing first, we need to remove this default value. So I'll just create a client table, then do the same for the applicant ID. So let's proceed with the table. So once we have the drilling service, the next column we might need is from the question. It also needed the pumps are charged according to the depth, the height, and the type of pump. So after the drilling service that the client needs, we're going to say which type of pump does it need to be installed. So also here, since we also have the type of pump, we'll also use the same implementation. And then the depth, and then the height. If you feel like there is a certain part that has passed you, you may just choose to pause the video and look at it. So tank installation, from the question, based on my understanding, it was something that is optional because the client can decide to install a pump, because that was a different, as you can see, it's under other services. No, not really under services. The pumps are charged according to they also install tanks. They also install tanks. So if the client also needs to install tank, I included the tank installation. So this, I'll say a yes or no. If he needs a tank, you just tick yes. If he doesn't, you leave it blank. And then which tank will he need? So also tank, since we don't want to type, the combo box helps you to save on time. Instead of typing the same tank more than one time, what we'll be doing, you'll just be selecting it from a list. So we only linked the drilling services. We're going to also link the type of pumps because we already have the table for type of pumps. So this same way, I'll come to lookup combo box and table query. I'll say I need the information to come from types of pumps. I'll select all. I'll close and save, and then I'll come and say, since I've inputted 3 columns, I need all the 3 columns to be displayed, but the first column to be hidden and also show the column heads. So as you can see, this is how it appears. The pump and the cost of the pump. And then we have the depth and the height. This should be numbers because and also this to be number because depth is a number. But I'll come here and do away with the or not. Plus also the type of tank that he or she needs. So that is this part here. They also install tanks and charge depending on the capacity of tank in liters. Then the question proceeds and says the company also offers other services such as plumbing and pump maintenance. So we have plumbing and pump maintenance. So the plumbing services are charged according to the type of pipe, the diameter, length, and the number of outlets. So come here and create a table for plumbing. All right, before we proceed, there are a few information we left here. For instance, for the tank, we needed to select the tank. So before we proceed with the plumbing, I'll just create a table for tanks and link it. So I'll just say tanks. And then we have the tank ID. I'll leave it as auto number, the description for the tank, which is a text, and then the cost for that tank. So I'll say unit price, the cost for one tank. I'll put it as a currency. I'll do away with these and copy our currency. So here I'll just add one tank for illustration. For instance, let's say Simba 500 liters. So you can add more tanks that you need here. I'll say this goes for 65,000. Oops, the currency. Save. So here we have one tank that is a Simba 500 liters. Then I'll come and link it here. So lookup combo box, table query, row source type. I'll add the tanks. I need all the fields in the tank, and I need all. I've included 3 columns. I need all the 3 columns included, but hide the first column and show the column heads. So if the user clicks on tank installation, he selects the type of tank he needs. That is a Simba 500 liters. Now we'll just input these details in a few. So we are done with the drilling applications. Now let's proceed with the pumps. Where were we? We were they also install tanks. We're done that part. The company also offers other services, the plumbing services. Actually, before we proceed, I would wish to a disclaimer, because the question is based on one's understanding, not that this is how you're supposed to tackle the projects entirely. It is based on each and every individual's understanding. The way I tackle it is not the same way you might understand it and tackle it. Not the same number of tables. There is no specific number of tables that it is required for the project. As long as it answers the question as intended, you are right. So long as you have understood the question fully. So don't go and copy paste everything. This is just just a prototype of how you may work around the project. So let's proceed. We are dealing with the plumbing and the pump maintenance. So I'll come here and create a table for plumbing applications. So I'll go to design view and name the table plumbing applications. And then I'll have the plumbing ID, which is an auto number. We'll say the client name. The clients will integrate it the moment we'll create the clients table, the same way we did to the types of pumps. Then we say the date that this service was required, the date for that plumbing. This should be a date or time. And then we say the number of outlets, because from the question it reads the plumbing services are charged according to the type of pipe, diameter, the length, and the number of outlets. Now the main reasons why I've not included these types of pipes, because For instance, it's a plumbing, right? So one plumbing, even if a plumber comes into your home, he or she might need to use more than one pipe of different diameters. So those are more than one information. It's like one class with many students. So these I'll have to create a different table. I'll name it, for instance, I'll name it plumbing application details, whereby it will now have the various pipes that will be used for a specific plumbing. So for instance, one plumbing, it used 4 pipes. So instead of coming here and inputting, okay, I'll just, and inputting, okay, so it needs me to delete this row. So instead of coming here and inputting 4 duplicates, because it will be one same client, but the only difference is the type of pipes. So I'll only have to include one, that is the main information for that plumbing, and then I'll go and create a relationship using a different table. I'll just show you in a minute, because we can't have duplicates on one table using the same client name. It's the same service, but since the only difference is the types of pumps and the diameters, because it might need to use more than one pipe, so I'll create a different table for that. So I'll only include the main data in this table. That is the main ones: the client name, the service date, the ones that may be one or they do not need more than one data in, like different data for one same service. So we also have, yeah, the number of outlets will also be the same, because one plumbing application will only need the same number of outlets, so that there is one service application with different number of outlets. So number of outlets, I'll use a number, and then we'll say the price per outlet. Let's say that this is now the company will decide on the pricing per the pricing that it will charge for that outlet. I'll deal with the currency here, and then what else is remaining? We can actually say total on outlets. We can compute the total, because it's price, the number of outlets, and then the price per outlet. So that means I can get the total on outlets. In a table, you can actually there is an extra field that is called calculated, which it calculates 2 fields. So here I'll just come and say I need to calculate the number of outlets times the price for each outlet. Price per outlet, then I close the square brackets. Okay, then I save. So the number of outlets, the default value, I don't need the default value, I'll do away with that. So we'll input data. Don't worry, we'll input data into this table and test if everything is working as intended. So we have the plumbing applications. Now, as I said earlier, the one application might need more than one pipe, more than one different type of pipe. So to avoid duplications, we're going to create another second table. We'll rename it, for instance, we'll say these are now the extra details for the plumbing applications. So I'll just name it plumbing application details, or we can name it whichever way you wish. So since this is a child table, because it's based on the main plumbing applications, we do not need this ID here, because here we might have duplicates. This is allowed to have duplicate, but the other one does not. It should not have duplicate. So what I'm meaning is that we might have, for instance, plumbing application 1. Plumbing application 1. Okay, well, I'll illustrate it right now. So for instance, we have the plumbing ID. So since this is a child table, we'll be picking up one plumbing application from the plumbing applications here, and then that one plumbing application we input the many pipes that we need. So it might be one plumbing up, but many pipes, one to many relationships. So since this is the primary key, the plumbing ID here, then this should be the foreign key. So foreign key is allowed to have duplicate, but primary key cannot have duplicate. So here we'll remove this as primary key because it will be used as a foreign key in our relationships. And then we change it to a number because we might need to input more than one same number multiple times. And then we come and say now the pipes used. I'll just illustrate it in a few. Pipes used, which is pipes used. Okay, pipes used. Were we given? Okay, we can do it the same way as tanks. So we can create here a different table for types of pipes. So I'll create a table for the types of pipes. Then we link it the types of pipes. So I'll have, let's say for instance, we're doing it the same way we did for the different tanks to avoid the user typing in the pipes several times. So instead you'll only have to select. So I'll have pipe ID, description, which is a short text, and then we'll say how do we have a hint here for the types of pipes that is under plumbing. Give me a minute. So for the pipes, yes, we do have so it says that the plumbing services are charged according to the type of pipe, the diameter, and the length. So it's charged as diameter and the length. You can define whichever costing. You can, let's say, decide and put a constant costing for each pipe, but since the pipes are of different diameters and different lengths, the user who decides the length of the pipe and the diameter of the pipe. I'll say I'll use for the pricing of a pipe to be determined, it will be multiplied by the cost, the unit cost per diameter per length. So like for instance, if the cost is 10 shillings and the user needs 8 diameters, it will be 10 times 8 diameters, and let's say the length of that pipe to be 20, so it will be 8 times 10 times 20. The cost per diameter per length. So say you can also leave your comments down in the video description if perhaps you feel that there's something I'm not doing it right. But as I said, the project is just depends on your understanding. So for instance, here I'll have for instance the metallic pipe, and say the price for 1 diameter and 1 meter, 1 diameter 1 meter metallic pipe, it goes for 40 shillings, right? For 40 shillings, right? So if it goes for 40 shillings, and then the user needs a plumbing that will require 8 diameter metallic pipe and 10 diameter of 10 meters, that will be now the 40 shillings times the diameter times the length. If you feel like I'm going too fast, you're allowed to pause the video and rewind for you to get a clear understanding of what I'm saying. So under plumbing application details, we needed the plumbing ID, the pipes used, and since it will be charged per pipe diameter and also per pipe length. I'll say since this will be numbers, and I'll apply a formatting. Okay, this will be numbers. Then I'll close. So what I meant is that for one plumbing, I'll just come here and input one plumbing. Okay, I do not have the client's name, but we can leave it that way. So I'll say for that date, this client requested plumbing application, and the plumbing application needed 8 outlets, and the company decided to charge him 5,000 per outlet. So as you can see, the total on outlets, they computed the calculated field. It has automatically calculated that it's these times these, that's 8 times 5,000, which gives 40,000. I'll just deal with the formatting. I'll also deal with the formatting for this. Okay, now I'll say it's a currency format, apply the Kenya shilling formatting. So that's how it is. So for this plumbing application, it required 8 outlets of 5,000 per outlet in the total on outlets. But now for that specific plumbing application, for plumbing application 1, it needed metallic pipe, and also it needed, I'll add one more pipe here, and also it needed a I'll say ionized pipe. And for ionized pipe, it goes for 70 shillings per diameter length. So under plumbing application details, now what I was meaning is that plumbing application 1, it needed 2 pipes, for instance. So I never linked the pipe used. So I'll do away the default value. Then I come here and say I need a combo box from a table or a query, the details to come from the pipes, and to show me all the 3 columns. So here I need to view all the 3 columns. I also need to see the heads, and I also want to hide the first column. I save. So once I come here now, I'll be able to see the pipes. As you can see here, the pipes from the other table. So if I add that pipe here, it will automatically be updated here. So for plumbing application 1, it needed 2 pipes. It needed a metallic pipe of, let's say for instance, a metallic pipe of diameter of 4 and a length of 20. Again, for the same plumbing ID 1, it also needed an ionized pipe of maybe a different diameter of 6 and of length of 30. So as you can see, we wouldn't manage to have these duplicates in one table. That's why I chose to separate them into different tables. So what we'll just do, we'll create a one-to-many relationship whereby one plumbing application requires many pipes. So just link it once you are done creating the tables. We'll create the relationships together. So we are done up to this part here, the plumbing. Now the next thing we also have is pump maintenance. So we'll also do the same for pump maintenance, the same way we have done for plumbing. So I'll come and create here a table named pump maintenances, and then we have maintenance ID, which is an auto number, the client who requested for that maintenance. So since this will get it from the client's table, I'll leave it as number, and then we have the maintenance date, which is a date or time. Now the same way, for the same case for plumbing, one pump maintenance might require 8 different tasks to be done. For instance, it might require taps being replaced. It might require the holes being cleared. So one maintenance might require different jobs. So for these, I'll also do the same way as plumbing applications. So I'll also come here and create now the table now to handle the various pump maintenances that will be needed. So I'll say pump maintenances details. Then here, since these are child table, the same way we did for the other one, we don't need a primary key to allow us to have duplicates. So I'll say maintenance ID. I'll take this as a number, and then the description for that maintenance, or we can say, for instance, let's use work description, which is a text, and then we have the amount that was charged for that specific work that was done. Then here I'll do with the default value and say the currency to be in cash. So the same way it applied to the pump maintenance is the same way for the plumbing application is the same way it will apply for the pump maintenance. So one pump maintenance, it had several services that were under it. So you come here and put the main details for that maintenance, that is just the client name and the maintenance date, because those don't change. So to avoid duplication, once you have that, you now come and create a different table that will now have the very many works that was done under a specific pump maintenance. Then so we are done up to here. The plumbing services are charged according to the types of pipe, the diameter and the length. Then clients who are interested in these services are required to apply. The company then records their details, which include the name. So we are going now to create a table for clients. So I'll come in the design view and name this table clients. And then I'll have the client ID. I'll leave it as an auto number. Full name. Client category. So client category, we have different clients. Here are the client categories. As you saw, we have industrial client, commercial client, and domestic client. So also here, to avoid typing these three information each and every time, we'll create a different table for client categories. So I'll just come here, create. First of all, create the client category table. Client categories. Then we have the category ID, which is an auto number. We say the category name, which is a short text, and then we have the survey fees, because for the client categories we are given, the industrial has different survey fees and the different local authority fees. So we'll have the survey fee, which is a currency, and then we have the local authority fees, which is also a currency. I'll do with then I'll save, and then I'll just input these data. We have industrial, commercial, and domestic. So we have the first category, we have industrial. We have commercial and domestic. And then the survey fee for industrial is 20,000 based on this table. For commercial it's 15,000. For domestic it's 7,000. For local authorities we have 50,000. We have 30,000 here. Then we have 10,000 here. So let's do away the formatting. Instead of currency, we need the penny shillings. Good. Let me save. So we already have these details here. Now we're going back to the clients table and we have them here. So as I said, the main reason I'm setting this as a number is because it's a foreign table, it's a child table, and the primary table has the category ID, which is the primary key, as a number. So this foreign field also has to be the same data type that I'm putting a number. So I'll remove the default value, and then I need the data to come from a different table, which I already have. Which table do I need? I need the client categories table. Then I include, so for here I've included 4 columns. So since I've included 4 columns, the column count I'll now put 4. I need it to display the heads. These are the column heads. Let me share real quick. These are the column heads. And then I need to hide the first column because it's just a number. There is the ID, so now it shows something of sort. So instead of typing each and every time, you just select as you proceed. Now the client ID, the full name, the client category. Which other field do you need in under clients? From the question, it needs the address, telephone number, and then the intended ball location. So I have the address, which is short text, telephone number. Let's say it's a short text. Then you have the borehole location, which is also short text. Then let's work with one data for here for now. So we have John Doe. Will say John Doe is a commercial client living in Limuru. Telephone number, I'll just guess numbers there. Well, location is also in Limuru. And then I'll have Evans Jackson. This is industrial clients who live in Nairobi. 07. And the borehole is in Alsenyeri. Then I save. Now since I now have the clients table, I can now begin to fill in where we were supposed to fill in under the applicant's name, the clients. So under drilling application, the applicant's name is a client. So I'll come here and say combo box. It comes from a table or a query. Which table? It comes from the client's table. I'll just add the ID, the full name. I'll only add the client category. So I'll use those 3. So I've added 3 columns. I need to show all of them. I need to hide the first column, and I need to show the head. So now if I come here, it will now show me the two clients. The main reason why this is showing 2 and 1 is also due to the relationship of client and client category. So but we'll deal with it right now after we are done with the relationships. So let's see if there is another place we needed to input the client's information. Here under plumbing application, we also needed the client's information. So I'll link the table we just created for clients. Combo box from a table. Which table? We need the client's table. We just need the first 3 columns. Close, save, yes. Columns, I need to display all the 3. I need the column heads, and I need to hide the first column. I save. We also need the client name under the pump maintenances applications. So here under client name, I'll remove the default value. Under lookup, I need to select from a list. Where do I need to select it from? The table, clients table, and then I had these 3. And then I close, then I save. I need to display all the 3 with column heads and hide the first column. Then I save. Then you test if it works. Yes, it works. Yes. Just close. Here we don't need the client's name. So the next thing is now relationships, because I think we're done with the tables for now, the main tables, because as you see we have handled the question up to here. The rest are just tables. We have already inputted this table, we've already inputted this table. Yeah, we have already also inputted this table. We have the type of the drilling services, the types of pump. Now these will be handled in a query, because you can't handle such computation in a table. That is for computing the drilling application costs. Now let's link the tables together. So database tools, relationship. I'll hide the default Microsoft relationships. Then I add all these tables, because I need to create relationship linking all these tables. Now, as from the first table, client category, it is related to clients. So we have the three different client categories with a lot of clients. So that means that one client category might have more than one client. Like we might have, for instance, we have industrial, commercial, and domestic. We might have two different clients but sharing the same client category. So that is a one category with many clients. So that's one to many relationship. So we're going to select the category ID and drag it to client category. As you can see, one is a primary key, the other one is a foreign key. This is a primary key here, this is not a primary key here. So this is what we call a foreign key. I'll enforce referential cascadity, and join type I'll say all records from client, because all clients might be linked to one client category. Actually, in most one-to-many relationships, the join property that always applies is the third one. So I'll click OK and I'll create. If that's why I was putting the data types as number. If I had this data type, let me just show you real quick. If I had this data type, client category as a text or any other different data type, the relationship would not work. But now, since the data type are the same, auto number and the number, that's why it's working. So we're done with that. There is no other relationship for client categories. Under client, we have client ID, full name, client category, address. Now under drilling application, we have the applicant name. So one client also can make different requests, can make more than one application, can have 5 drilling applications. So that's also a one-to-many relationship. So we have the client ID with whoever applied for the drilling application in the drilling applications table. Then you also enforce referential integrity, join type. The third one always applies for one-to-many relationship. As you can see, one client may have very many drilling applications. And also the drilling service, we had drilling services here. So we'll say one drilling service can be applied for by more than one client. So service from drilling services and drilling service from drilling application table. Then do the same. It's a one-to-many relationship. Create. As you can see, since the data type were number, relationship won't be an issue. There is no way possible you'll get an error. Then type of pump, we also have the different types of pumps. As you can keenly see, these are the fields that we inputted combo boxes in it to avoid also retyping. So type of pump, we had the type of pump table, which is here. So I'll also drag type of pump to type of pump. Oops. It's playing hide and seek with me. Also it's a one-to-many relationship, whereby one one pump can be applied for in more than one application. Where the depth, the height, and also now the tank here also. So one tank can also be applied for by more than one client. Also do the same here. Drilling services, there is no relationship here. Plumbing application details, with the plumbing application, remember the way we said it, one plumbing application may require more than one pipe, so we never included a primary key here. So we are going to fetch for the plumbing applications, which is this one. We drag this primary key into this foreign key, then we say that's a one-to-many relationship, meaning one plumbing application had different pipes. So this is just able to hold the different data that were required under one plumbing application. Now client name also, it was linked to a certain client. So one client can also require more than one plumbing application. So that's also a one-to-many relationship. We do not have any field here that requires relationship. Pump maintenance, also the same way for plumbing application. One pump maintenance may require many different works to be done with different pricing. So that's also a one-to-many relationship. Client name also, one client can request for more than one pump maintenance. That's also another one-to-many relationship. Tanks, we have already linked to the tanks. Types of pipes, they were used, they were used for plumbing. So pipes used with one pipe here. So one pipe may be used more than once in more than one application. So that's also a one-to-many relationship. And I think we're done with the relationships. As you can see, no relationship popped up an error because we are very keen in typing in the information. So I'll just save, close, and test if everything works as intended. So I did add here two clients, that is John Doe. I did allocate him the client category and all the necessary details, the telephone and the borehole location. So this client I'll test, and okay, the client category is okay. Now remember the one-to-many relationship. This is now the advantage of one-to-many relationship. If you come into a main table, for instance the client categories table, you'll now have this plus after you have integrated your relationship. So if I click this plus under industrial, I'll be able to see all the clients that are under the industrial category. You see, so currently I only have one client, that is Evans Jackson. You can confirm that from the clients category, Evans Jackson has industrial category. If we extend the commercial, we only have John Doe. And if we extend domestic, we do not have any client. So we can choose to add, even if we change here to commercial and close this table and come back to client category under commercial, now you'll be able to see both data. So that's the importance of the one-to-many relationships. So I'll leave this as industrial. So that works perfectly. Drilling application, let's now drilling application, we say John Doe is the one that made the first drilling application. To deal with these two, instead of showing a 2, for you to be able to know which client category is this, it's very easy. You can just locate where you did input your combo box details. So it's, you select the field, then under lookup you come where the raw source where you inputted you edited your query. Click on the 3 dots. Be keen to click on the 3 dots. So click on the 3 dots, and then it will show you now your query. This is the query you made for the clients. So now you want this client category, instead of showing a number, you remember the other side it's showing a number. The reason why it's showing a number is because remember we always hide the first column here. You remember while we are putting the column with to 0, we hide the first column, which is the one that stores the data. So the first column is here for our case, it's client, the category ID. So the category ID had category ID 1, category ID 2, and category ID 3, but they were hidden. So here it's hidden, that's why it shows commercial. But while viewing the data under drilling application, it's not hidden. That's why it's showing 1, 2, it's showing in numbers. So to deal with that, it's very easy. Since we have already implemented the relationship, what we're going to do, we are going now to add table for the client categories. Then instead of showing the number, we show now the name directly. So we're going to add table and add table for client categories. As you can see, it will come now with the relationships that we'd already inputted over there. Now instead of showing the client category here, we are going to delete these and say we need to show the category name instead, now from this different table. Now if I run this query now, it will now show me a text box with the name. As you can see, it's now no longer a combo box, it's now a text box with a text of that category name. So now after I've done that, I'll now close and save. Now once I save here and come back to this combo box, I'll now be able to see the name and not the number. Then I'll say drilling application, I'll just put the mediator there. And the drilling service, I'll say John Doe needed core drilling. The type of pump, he needed a solar pump. As you can see, it becomes very easy to insert data. You just select. Now the depth for that pump, let's say it was 56 and the height of 42, for instance. He needed the tank installation, and we'd already selected Simba tank because that's the only tank we have for now, but you can add the details to the tanks table. The also advantage of this combo box is that adding data, it becomes easy. Instead of editing here, you just come here and edit from the table itself here, and it will automatically update the other side. So drilling application we have tested, we have no error while editing data. Drilling services, it's okay, as the same way as client category will have a plus. If you click, you'll now be able to see the drilling applications for each. So we do not currently have a symmetric drilling application because we have only added one drilling application, which is a core drilling. So under core drilling, now you'll be able to see that one application for John Doe, and we also do not have geotechnical drilling. So drilling services work. Plumbing application details. So for this to work, you first of all need to have a plumbing application, because it's a one to many. It's one plumbing application with many pipes used under that plumbing. So you must first of all have that plumbing application before knowing which pipes will be used for that plumbing application. So for that reason, you can't have a plumbing ID here that is not here. So first of all, you have to input plumbing application. So for instance, I'll add I'll say whoever requested for this plumbing application is Evans. So to deal with this one too, I had already shown you. Let me just do it one more time. So I don't want the one to, instead I want to show the names. So instead of client category, I'll just add a table for that client, the client categories. And instead of showing me the combo box here, I'll delete it and show the text for that category name directly that way. Then I'll close and save yes. As you can see, the numbers are appearing from this column, that is 2, 1. But because we said the first column width to be 0, now it will hide the first column and only show the second and the third. That's how we are dealing with it. So as you can see, now we have the names for the client categories. So we have this plumbing application was made by Evans Jackson. It had 8 outlets, price per outlet 5,000. It automatically calculated the total on outlets. And then for that plumbing application 1, it needed a metallic pipe, an ionized pipe, and actually even here we can now implement the same combo box. So instead of typing, you can say it takes data from now the plumbing applications. So you only select the plumbing application that you want to add pipes to. It will be very easy if we create a form. I'll just show you right after this. while I'm manipulating the data using the form, it becomes very, very easy. So here we are dealing with plumbing applications. So I'll add a table for plumbing application and say I want to view all the plumbing applications with those three details, or maybe let's use 4. 1 2 3 4. So this is our query, but currently I only have one data. I'll close, save, yes. So I've added 4 columns. I need all the 4 columns displayed, but hide the first column and also show the column heads. So if I now come here, instead of typing each and every time, I will now actually do not need to hide the first column because I need to know which ID I'm working with. So I'll delete the column with section. So now if I come here and select, now also the same case, to avoid having here too, instead of a client name, you do the same. You come here, you locate that column under lookup where you did create your query, click on the 3 dots, and now instead of showing the client name, which is a combo box directly from plumbing application, we needed to retrieve the client name directly from the clients table. So it's easy because you already have the relationships. So instead of client name, I need to display the full name for that client, and I'll do away with this, and then I'll move this over here. So right now I now have the full name, but now here, instead of full name, for easy clarification, I'll modify the column header to show client name and then column. So that it will now show client name. So now if I come back here and save and view it from here, I'll be able to now see the client name. So this plumbing was made by, so also this using combo boxes now it prevents you from entering data that is not the other side. So for instance, too, you do not have a plumbing application too. If I get out of there, it will cause an error because it's a one-to-many relationship and there is no ID for 2. So how will you have pipes and then you do not have where those pipes will go? So let's say for instance the same plumbing application 1, it needed again another metallic pipe. As you can see also, it also helps you in manipulating data. I've just begun typing and it auto completes because of the combo box. But now it needed a metallic pipe of different diameter. So this second metallic pipe, it needed, let's say, 8 diameter, and it needed of 50 lengthwise. So if I close, now I have 3 different pipes that were used under this one plumbing. If I come and click this plus, I'll now be able to see in this plumbing, these 3 pipes were used of pipe diameter and pipe length. I hope now you're getting it, the concept of relationships and one-to-many and how I chose this approach. So the same case applies to maintenance. So you do not have maintenance. Let's add maintenance data to test. So client name, I'll say John Doe. We need to deal with that client category sharing a number. So the same way, right now I'm going quick because this is that time I'm doing it to save on time. So I'll click add table, client categories, and instead of this, I need to show the category name, close, save. So now I have the category name. So this pump maintenance was made by Evans Joe on this date. Once I've created that, I'll now come and add the maintenance details. So I'll also do the same for maintenance. So this is maintenance 1. So I'll come here and say for maintenance 1, it needed, for instance, pipe replacement, which costed 40,000. And then besides pipe maintenance, for the same maintenance 1, it needed maintenance of, let's say, let's say whole pipe filling of pipes, yeah, which costed, let's say, 25,000, 26,000. I'll deal away with the dollar sign. Now I'll also put these in a way we did to this, whereby I'll just have to select the pump maintenance instead of typing. So I'll come here under the maintenance ID, I remove the default value. Then I need to show a combo box from a different table, that is the maintenance table. So I'll come and add the pump maintenance. I need to add I'll include all the three details. And I won't hide any column. I won't hide the first column for this. So I want to input the 0 under column width. Now if I come here now and I want to add the second data, what I'll now do is just select. Okay, we need to deal also with the client name showing too. We need to show the client name. So I'll come here, show table, clients directly, full name. I'm doing it this way so that I may get the client name directly from the client's table instead, because remember here it's just a number that is being saved, but now that number is linked to a certain client here. So now I retrieve the name of the client from the client's table. So here I need to show the client name as the column head, as a column. So now I have the client name. So right now instead of typing each and every time, I'll just be selecting maintenance ID. If I even come and add a second pump maintenance, let's say maintenance 2 for now John Doe, and say this was done on that date. If I close and then I come back to now inputting the details, now I'll have now the maintenance 2, of which now it becomes easy. Also in editing the data using forms, for instance, if I want to, now that I have created the relationship, I'll show you what happens if I create a form from plumbing applications, for instance. So I'll just select plumbing application, create, and click a form directly. So the Microsoft Access will be intelligent enough to read the relationship and create for you a table that will now have the default plumbing application details with also the pipes used for that plumbing. So let's say plumbing ID 1, the details for that plumbing application, and the pipes that are used for that plumbing application. So if I save and now view, I'll say plumbing application, and now view this form and add a new table, I can now be able to service data. I can now be able to edit two tables at the same time. Number of outlets, let's say it required 60 outlets. Price per outlet, it's 8,000. This was automated. And now I can now even add the pipes that were used for that table, for that plumbing application. So I'll say the pipes used, it used ionized pipe, diameter 5. As you can see, using the combo box, it makes works very easy. You just select metallic. It also used metallic, diameter 7, length 12, for instance. And as you can see, I've inputted all this data, and these are two different tables. If I close this, as you can see, this is John Doe 60 and ionized and metallic, that is 5 and 7 respectively, and come back to my table. I've entered the data using a form. Now if I come to my table plumbing application, you'll see that John Doe, here it is. And if I go to the second different table, you'll now see the metallic pipe 7 and the ionized. You see the way it's easy to manipulate data once you have the relationships set. So the same case also applies to maintenance. If I just click maintenance, create form, it will create for me maintenance and the different works that are done for that pump maintenance. So I think so up to there we are together. So we are done up to here, you are here. Now the next thing it says other services are charged based on the rates. We have already implemented this. Now every client is charged 16% tax based on the total services, the total cost of the service offered. So now here we will now need to create queries for this. So for that, I will create a query real quick. I'll come here, create a query. The first query I'll create is to compute taxation for drilling applications. So because that's the main So I'll just come create design and add drilling applications. Now I will need all this information for drilling applications. So I need application name, applicant, application ID, applicant name, date of drilling, drilling services. I'll just add all these real quick, and then I'll come here. Now begin the computation. So for a drilling application, for the total cost to be determined, actually for a drilling application we also had a survey fee, because for one service to be dealt with, it's the specific client had to pay for a survey. So remember, the survey was in a different table, but now we have relationships that will make work easier for us. So what we'll do, we'll add the survey fees were in client categories. So we'll just come here and add client category. But now there is no direct link, a relationship from client category directly to drilling application. So for this to work, we now need to add the table that will link this to, of which it's client, because it's a client who is making that application, and using that client we now know which category that client is. So if we add a clients table, you'll see now we'll have relationship that is complete. So now we need to compute we need to also see how much did he pay for survey fees and how much did he pay for local authority fee. If I now run this query, I only have one drilling application. It is for John Doe. But from this query, if I scroll, I'll be able to see the survey fee that John Doe paid and the local authority fee that John Doe paid. Automatically, now this is done using the relationships. It goes and fetch data and sees John Doe is in which category. Under client, John Doe is in commercial. It goes ahead and checks under client category. How much does commercial pay for survey fee? 15,000. For local authority, 30,000. So from this query, it will intelligently put you the figures automatically. So computation also becomes easy. So we have already computed the survey and the local authority fees. And then the next thing is the down payment fee also. How much did he make for down payment? So for the down payment fee, that depends on the drilling service, because it's drilling service that determines the down payment fee. So you also need to see how much did he pay for the drilling, for the down payment fee, depending on the drilling service. So we'll add table for now drilling services, which now has the down payment fee. So since you already had the relationships, we'll just click down payment fee. So if you run now, you'll see down payment fee to 25,000. And if you confirm, this was core drilling from drilling services. Core drilling was that to 25,000. So it makes now you work with data accurately without any fault. And then the next thing we need to calculate now in these to get the total amount that he paid for this drilling application is now the pump cost. How much did the pump cost? The pump cost, now it will now vary from the type of pump. So the same way we did with this, we'll only have to add table for types of pumps. No, not types of pipes, but types of pumps. We'll remove this. So since there is also relationship for type of pump, we'll just have to add the cost, and automatically it will go fetch the pump you inputted and put for you the pricing there. The next thing we need to do is the depth cost. The depth cost, it was calculated by the depth cost was calculated by the depth cost. Yeah, now you have the depth cost here. It's calculated if the depth is from 1 to 100, the cost per meter is 1,000. If it's 1 to 200, it's 15, etc, etc. So here the depth cost, now we'll need to use a formula. So I'll say depth cost, right? So the depth cost, So if the depth is 1 to 100, it's 1000 per meter. So the depth, it's already inputted from the drilling application. We have the depth and the height. So we need to determine the depth cost. How much did he pay for the depth that he inputted? So I'll come here and say, I'll use an if function. So if depth, you see the depth, if the depth is 1 to 100, it's 1000. Same to if the height is 1 to 100. So if, and then I'll come and locate drilling applications, Uzima tables, drilling applications. If the depth, I'll copy this so that I'll just be pasting to save on time. So if the depth, there is a formula called between. So if the depth is between 1 and 100, then the price is 1000. That is per meter. But now it needs to multiply by the number of meters, the depth, the number of depth meter that client needed. So it's 1000 times the depth itself. So let me just illustrate for you first. Okay, I'll need to, okay, now if I save this, this is a drilling applications query. Now if I come here and the drilling applications query, as you can see here, the depth was 56. 56, yes, 56 is 1 to 100. So that means that it will take 1000 per meter. So it will be 1000 times 56. So we're expecting 56,000 for the depth cost. As you can see, there is 56,000. So that's now what the formula does. So I'll again proceed and say, what if it's not 1 to 100? So we'll add another if. So instead of now the value false, we'll come again and say if, okay, something is, we'll come again and say if the same drilling application, if it's now between 101 and 200, now it will be 1500 by that drilling depth. Else, if it's between, if the drilling depth it's between 201 and 300, then it's 2000. If it's not these and these and these, then that means that it's over 300. So we'll just come here and say else, if it's not all these, then it's 2500. Then since we opened this first bracket, we came and opened this second bracket, we came and opened this third bracket, we'll need to close all those brackets. We opened 3 brackets. Now let's illustrate and see if it works. So the depth cost, if so, for our case, for the less than, between 1 to 100, we see it works, right? Because it's 56, it's less than 100, it's just 56 by 1000. If we take a number that is more than 100, we say 150, for instance, right? For the depth, 150. Now watch here for the depth cost. You see it's now 225. 150, it's now between 101 to 200. So that means that it takes now 150 by 150 by 150 by 1500. If you take 150 by 1500, you now get 225. So that means that our formula works. If we also do between 201 to 3000, we change this to a number that is between here, let's say 250. You see 250, it's now 2000. Okay, 250, that doesn't work. So there is a problem for 250. So let's debug for 250. build for 250, it should be between 101 and 200, it's 15,000. Between 200 and 300, oh, I never multiplied. It's that amount times the depth itself. Same here, times the depth itself. So if I click OK now, it will take that amount, that depth, 250 by 2000, which is 50,000. So that works. And since it's the same thing that applies for the height, to save on time, we're just going to duplicate this. So I'll select all, copy, close. I come here and paste that same thing, but now we use height, cost, and then instead of depth, now we'll replace depth with height. Yeah. So we'll come here, Uzima, tables, drilling applications, height. So we'll copy this and find every place that has depth with height. Every place that has depth, we replace with height. I'm copy pasting, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I'd already copied, now I'm pasting. So also the height should work. Let's save and see. So the height for our case is that between 1 and 100, that is 42. It should be 42,000. As you can see, it works. So I've already calculated the depth cost and the height cost. The next thing we need to calculate to get the total cost that this client paid for a drilling application is the tank cost. How much did he pay for a tank installation? So for a tank installation, since we also have a relationship that goes from a tank to tanks, we're going to add a table for tanks. As you can see, we already have a, and then we say unit price for that specific tank. So if you needed a tank installation, it will go and fetch the unit price for that tank. So as you can see, for this drilling application 1 drilling application, he needed a tank, and he selected Simba 500 liters, and from our tanks, Simba 500 liters are 650,000, of which there it is. The next computation we need to work on is okay, give me a minute. Is so we have already calculated the tank cost. The next one is I don't think so there is any other costing. So now let's compute the total. So I'll first of all save, then I come here and build, and now compute the total. So total cost, now we say it was the total cost was the depth cost, the height cost, okay, the depth cost plus the height cost plus the survey, the local authority fees plus the survey fees plus the tank fees. Is there anything I've left behind? Okay, give me a minute, let me see. We have the apply, these are just details, but the computation begins, the amounts begin from down payment. So survey, local authority down payment, this cost was for, I need to determine these things. This cost was for pump, so I'll change this to pump cost, so that instead of showing cost, it just shows pump cost. Unit price, this is a tank cost. Tank cost. So I have height cost, depth cost, tank cost, pump cost, down payment, local, and survey. And now let's confirm if there's something I've left behind. Depth cost, height cost, local authority, survey. This should be the tank cost, and we have survey, no, the down payment cost. The down payment is the down payment, the down payment fee. So I think so we have calculated all the total. So if I click OK and save and run this, I'll be able now to see the total, which it's 1 million. Now that is just the total, we haven't included the tax. So okay, I also need to delete the formatting. So I'll come here and say you show me the value in Kenya shillings. So now let's now calculate the tax. So from the question it reads the tax is, I believe, is it 16%? So yeah, every client has 16% tax on the total cost. So we are coming here and then we build, then you now compute the tax, which is 16%. So 16 divided by 100, it's 0.16. So it's 16% times the total costing, the total cost here. So times total cost. If I click OK and save and run this, now it will compute for me the total cost and the tax, which is 16% of that. To change the format, you just come to property and you input your format here. Now that we have the total cost and the tax, how much did he pay? The amount that he paid, it's now the total plus the tax. So amount payable is going to be the total cost plus the tax. Now let's save and let's view what we have here. So as you can see, it has computed the total, of which it's in dollars. I don't like it in dollars. Let me change it to Kenya shillings. Yeah, and we are done. So the same case applies to now these other ones. So we are done with the drilling applications computation. We have already computed everything. The next thing we are going to compute is the amounts, the totals for pump maintenances and plumbing. So I'm going to create another query here. Let's begin with the plumbing application. So I'll add plumbing applications and the various details for that plumbing. So I'll save these as plumbing applications query. Now I'll add that plumbing ID, right, and say the pipes that I used and the pipe diameter and the pipe length. So first of all, here we need to see, let me first of all remove here this table. We need to calculate the totals for each pipe. For instance, this was 4 and 20. How much total was it? Remember, the pipes were calculated by diameter per length meters. So I'll have to add the table for that had the pricing for each pipe. So I'll come and add the types of pipe. Since we already had a relationship, we'll do the same way we did for drilling application. So I'll come here, add a new column and say total cost. I'll say the total cost now will be the cost per diameter per meter. So that is table and the types of pipes. It's the cost per diameter per meter times what diameter did that client request for. So that is under the application details. He requested for what diameter times the length he requested for. If I click OK and save, now as you can see, he requested for 4 diameter and 20 in length, and it was a metallic pipe. For types of pipe, metallic pipe goes for 40 shillings. So it's 40 by 4, which is 160. 40 by 4, then by 20. 160 by 20 is 3200. Then the format, I need it in cash. Yeah, so once we have the total pricing for each pipe individually, we now come here. I'll rename these total applications details, because this is for the details. And then I come and create a different query, which will now have that query and the general plumbing applications. So as you can see, the relationship already exists. Now I'll now take the main details from the main table that is the plumbing applications table, which I already computed the total outlets. But now, as you can see, we have these duplicates. We need to, the main reason why I have these duplicates, because for the main reason why it appears thrice is because for this plumbing it needed 3 pipes, and these 3 pipes have different data. That's why it's appearing thrice. But to deal with that, we'll only need to apply grouping. We need to click on not totals, we need to apply grouping. So here we'll just right click, and yeah, we click on totals, it will now apply grouping. So if I now view, I will now view the 2 main plumbing applications that I want. But now I want to compute total for the total cost of each pipe. If I click on totals, as you can see, these are the 3, but now the pricing for each pipe for each plumbing application was different. But now I only want one with now the total for all these 3. For instance, plumbing application 1, how much total did it require for pipes? So I'll come here and say group by, I say sum. So if I save, and now save this as plumbing applications query and view it, I'll now need to see just the total. And then I change this to Kenyan currency. So for 1, it will take the plumbing applications, it will come here and take 111 and add this, the pricing, give me the total, which is that 1,800. Now once we are done with that, we need to compute the tax that was paid. So under plumbing applications, the tax, so this is total cost. Now we need to calculate the tax. I'll build and say tax, which is 0.16 times that total cost. And then I click OK and view. Now the tax was 312. So I'll say this is total. No, let me just use total instead of total cost, because we also have as field in the table named total cost. So for it to be able to differentiate which total cost to use, I'll just use total and save. Okay, total cost, I mean, is it total? Yeah, total. Okay, save. Okay, so yeah, oh yeah, we need to group this by expression, because this is an expression. So we save, then now if we view, it will take this and give you the 16%. Now we need to now see the total payable, which is now the total cost plus the tax. So total payable will be the total plus the tax. Then click OK. Also here I need to say expression, because it's an expression that we have inputted. So now we have everything here. I'll just do away with the currencies, and now we are done with computations of the plumbing. We'll also need to do the same from the pump maintenances. So since pump maintenances, we only have the table for descriptions for each maintenance, we'll only need to add this main data And then from these other data for amount, we'll only need to sum up the amount. So we'll only take the amount section, click on totals. If I view it this way, I'll be able to see duplicate data, but I want total on amount. So I'll come here and say group by sum. Now if I run, I'll be able to now see the sum. Then I change these two. I change that to Kenyan currency. So if I save, and now this is pump maintenance query. Okay, so now we have the total here, which is 300,000. 300,000, it comes from the different pump maintenance, that is 40 plus 260, which gives you 300,000. Now what else did the question need? Is there anything where how we have already calculated the tax for the various services? Developer had that's just what we just did. Register and maintain list of clients. I've tested it works. Register items and services provided. We have also tested it as well. Compute. We have computed total amount to be paid by each client, because that is the total amount plus the tax. We already computed it. Amount charged on plumbing, we have already done it here. Plumbing applications query is the total payable, the amount paid. The tax paid by each client, we have already calculated tax in all services. Total fees charged for survey and local authority. Total fees charged for survey and local authority, what we'll do, since we have the drilling applications query that has the amounts for surveys and surveys and local authorities, we'll just create another query from that query. So queries, drilling applications query. No, we need drilling applications query. We do not need this. And then we'll come and take, it needs us to compute total fees charged for survey and local fees. So we'll say survey and local authority, right? Those are the only two it needs. But now if we had two data, we'll see two fields here. For instance, I'll just go and okay, this is total on surveys. So if I add second drilling service, second drilling application, there's a drilling application, and say now also if Evans requested for a drilling application on this date, requested for geo, requested for submissible 130 65, and he also requested for a tank, the same tank. Now if I come here under drilling applications query, yes, it has calculated everything inclusive of the amount payable. But now if I come to total on surveys, as you can see, there are two different data, but here we need the total. So we'll do the same as the plumbing applications, whereby we'll now click on totals and run totals on the two requests that were made. So it will give us the total for survey and total for local authority. I'll change the currency. Yeah, and we are done. Sum of trust survey, sum of local authority fees. Total revenue generated by the company for each service from all clients. Now that we need now to combine. We need to combine all these queries that compute totals. So we'll say the main queries that compute total is drilling totals, plumbing totals, and pump maintenance totals. And then we add the totals, amount payable, total payable, and total here. Now if we run, we'll see everything here, but now we need the totals. So we'll also do the same group by sum, group by sum, group by sum. And then our total revenue, we'll come here and say now, okay, let me first of all save and say this is company revenue. Now total revenue, it will now be the sum of all those. So it will be here the sum of amount payable plus the sum of total plus the sum of Okay, there's a duplicate here. Sum of total payable. So we'll say revenue is the sum of all those three. But now since we have grouping, this one will have to group it by expression. If we save and view, now we have the total company's revenue, which is 7 million. I'll deal away with the currency, and that way we are done with the project. That's how I interpreted the question. As I said, there are very many ways of interpreting the question, but this is how I understood it. If you have any query or any question, feel free to leave a comment down in the video description. So generate appropriate reports. You can choose to use the report wizard and generate whichever report you wish. For instance, if it's a report on clients, you can just click the clients and click on report to generate for your report, and you save. Or you can choose to now style. So you generate reports for whichever data you feel it's important for the report. Yeah. Also, if you feel like the whole process has been hectic, I came across this channel. There's this channel also, they do have a website, and that they have very brilliant work. They have been doing it for years, so they have very clean reputation. This is not a paid advertisement, but you can just check them out, kcseprojects.co.ke. I'll also leave their website link down in the video description, plus also their YouTube channel down in the video description. So go check them out if you need a copy that is fully done, everything for you done, fully done, both the documentations and databases. So they have very good work. So go check on them if you need a fully done project, or if you need yours done, or if you have consultation, feel free to leave a comment on the video description. If this video helped you out, make sure to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, we'll appreciate for that. So yeah, that's enough for today. See you in the next one. This is an extended cut. For the forms and the reports, you can choose to create whichever forms and reports based on the tables and queries that we just created. So that would be easy while you use the report and form wizards. If you have a problem in doing it, just let me know in the comment section and I'll create a separate video for it. Thank you.